Hi there, and welcome back to Padilla Palace Projects. My name is Jennifer, and we're going to go over today kind of why we buy bulk foods, where we buy it from, and what kind of started that process. First of all, we have been working really hard on our family becoming more healthy. We've slowly been doing stuff over the last couple of years, but one of the ways we're doing that is by cooking almost everything from home. So just learning how to cook, period, was a big starter for me. And then being able to have things on hand when I need it is also really key for being able to cook at home. So learning how to make breads and having all the ingredients for that, just everything from scratch, trying not to do a bunch of box stuff. Over the last year, we have been slowly building our pantry up. And I originally started with the cheap, I think I found a 25-pound bag of white bleached flour at Smart and Final or Costco for like $7 something. And I'm like, oh, that's great. But then this year I started doing more research on flours and nutrients and the things that are still in them when you consume them. My daughter does not have celiac disease, but she is gluten sensitive. And then my husband, we are finding out he does better without as much gluten in his diet. It doesn't cause harm, like he doesn't have any normal reactions to it, like sickness or illness or anything like that, but he does get more bloating, and it causes a lot of weight gain for him. So we have been working really hard and looking on everything we are putting into our diet. When we originally bought bulk, I was doing it just for food security, and that's one of the top reasons why we buy bulk is food security. The other reason is it's cheaper. When you go to buy 1 pound of something, you're usually paying way more for an item if you calculate 25 1-pound packages versus a 25-pound bag. That is one of the key reasons why it's cheaper. So number 2 is food security. This last year has been kind of crazy for everybody. COVID aside, having the option to have the ability to have food in your pantry without having to go places for a period of time is important. This last year, not only did we have COVID and were we home, but my daughter had an illness to where she was in bed for months and then ended up having to be in a wheelchair and get back to walking again. We didn't know exactly what was wrong at the time. And so getting out and shopping was harder. Also not wanting to introduce germs, not knowing what was going on with her. And then aside from that, at the end of this last year and then most of this beginning of this year, my husband had a workman's comp injury. Is still out on a workman's comp injury, but it took a couple of months to get our first paycheck for that. So we literally had zero income for 2 months, and we were okay because we had food in the pantry, and then we got some fresh food from a food bank and some from our garden, but our garden was very small this winter. So food security is big. You just never know when you are going to need to rely on that. You don't know if you're going to have an emergency. You don't know if you're going to have an illness. You don't know if your car is going to break down. Whatever it is, something could happen, and to have that to be able to fall back on, whether it's a couple of weeks, whether it's a month or two, whatever it is, having that and having it stored properly are huge. And then the other perk is less trips to the grocery store. When we go to the grocery store, we always end up impulse buying. I swear I'm always hungry when we go to the grocery store. And so we always end up with way more stuff than what we were originally going in for. So when you're buying in bulk and having the most on hand, it causes less frequent trips to the grocery store, which in turn saves you money and saves you time. When we originally went bulk, we decided to go ahead and buy some 5-gallon food grade buckets. My friend got some on Amazon first, and then we found them on Home Depot for way cheaper. So I got a 10-pack at Home Depot when they were in stock. I don't know, they've been hit and miss. and I want to say shipped, it was like 50 or something like that for 10 buckets, which is really cheap. For what they have been going for with this last year, 2020. We got the 5-gallon buckets. I did not get the Gamma Seal lids at that time. We just didn't have the money for it. I just got the cheap lids with the rubber mallet and the little hook thing that helps you lift up the lids. And then we've had mason jar. We obviously tried to stock up on some more this spring with the shortage that's going on, but we also saved like pasta jars, and we got some jars from our friends and some other people on Facebook who were giving them away, and we use those to store our seasonings and our beans and just different things that we need in the kitchen. I did it during one of Hobby Lobby's glass sales. I did pick up some glass there for our counters, which you'll see a picture of some of those at the end of this video. So now we're going to jump into why did we choose the company that I'm going to talk about today with this order. We chose Azure, I think it said Azure, maybe Azure Standard. Number one, because there's organic food there, and it's actually way more affordable buying it bulk there for a lot of things, not for everything, but for a lot of things than for buying it elsewhere. And I don't buy organic for everything. I don't have money to buy organic for everything, but when I can, I would like to. So going through the gluten situation, we have learned a lot about flours. And so like what I talked about earlier with the white flour and so forth, we stocked up on that originally, but now that I've learned that most flour loses its nutrition, a huge chunk of its nutrition, 24 hours after it is milled. So I started doing a ton of research in different types of flours, different types of, which brought me into wheat berries, and then how hard is it to mill it at home. And then we got into the different types of mills, whether it has like the chopper or the stone grinding and all that stuff. So doing this research and finding that we wanted to start milling our flour at home, Azure Standard had very affordable whole wheat berries, and whole wheat berries actually store longer than regular flour. They keep their nutrients intact, and you get like, it's when you buy 25 pounds of whole wheat berries, I think like a quarter cup of wheat berries when it's milled down is almost a half a cup of flour. So you're almost getting double, just under the amount of flour that you're storing in wheat berries, which is awesome. Anytime we can save space, we live in an apartment, so anytime we can save space, we do. At some point I will go over a pantry tour. That's not going to happen on today's video. I really wanted to talk about just buying bulk and why we do it and where we're doing it. So I have gotten some things at Costco before, I've gotten some things at Winco, and I have gotten some things at Smart and Final. You can get like huge 25-pound bags of carrots for like 10 bucks at Smart and Final. You can get a 50-pound bag of potatoes. I think I just got a 50-pound bag of potatoes for $10.99. So buying bulk is amazing. But Azure Standard, for all the dry things in our pantry, is who we just started going through. I did a lot of research on them before I started ordering. I watched a lot of people's videos on their reviews of them and the quality of what they got. We went through and we stocked up kind of on the basic of the dry goods, flours, grains. We got popcorns and corn for milling down for making our own tortillas and things like that. So they have a great selection. We really liked the company values, and then it's affordable organic food and affordable bulk food. They definitely go cheaper the larger quantities you get. So some of the things you're going to see today, I got a smaller quantity to try them out. Other things I just went big and got the big quantity. So I'm going to pop in some videos here in a minute, some pictures and a video of what we got, but I want to kind of talk to you about how it works. So you go onto their website and you are looking at the different categories. They have food, they have like household essentials, they have things for the garden, I believe they have animal feed, they have all kinds of stuff on their website that you can purchase and have either dropped to your house. You could pay for shipping to your house, or you can choose a drop zone close to your house. I'm really lucky, we have a drop zone like 10 minutes away, and it's free. Most drop sites on the West Coast are free. The further east you get, there is usually more of a drop fee for dropping it off, because their company is actually based closer to the West Coast. So for me, it was way more cost effective to have no fee for dropping it. You go to wherever your designated drop site is on the day it's supposed to be there, and you wait for the big semi truck to get there. Once the semi truck gets there, everybody who's participating in that drop will go through and help unload that truck. And then as they're unloading the truck, you're going to have everybody's names on these cards. At least that's how our drop site did it. They had everybody's names on these laminated papers with how many boxes under their name for that order. And so everybody unloads. We're dropping everybody's stuff by their names, and then once you have all the boxes for your name, you're free to load up and go. And that's as easy as it is. So you go through, select what you need by the designated time. If it's for the drop, they'll have a cutoff date for that. Our drop is once a month, and so we have an option to order once a month. We can order whenever we want. The other great thing is they have a huge selection of stuff. They have all kinds of sales flyers. You can go on and you can look at it in person. This order came with the April sales flyer, but it has crazy good products. Like, this has persimmon vinegar. This is one of the things that they're telling you a little bit about. So this is actually, the vinegar is made from persimmons. It's gentler. It's milder than the apple cider vinegar, and it's great for salad dressings and splashed on your avocado and so forth. So they go over information, how to use foods, things like that in these. They have great selections for dairy, for frozen, for all kinds of stuff. We did order a huge 5-pound block of cheese, and that came and it was super cold, and so they are really good about making sure everything stays at the right temperature. But their selection is amazing. So you go on, choose what you want, you can keep adding to it, you check out, even after the point when you check out, if you are doing the drop until your cutoff time, you can add or take away to your checked out amount, and your card is not going to be charged until it ships. I believe it's when it ships, not when it closes, but when it ships. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is what we got. Super excited about that. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you what we bought and how much it cost and what it was per pound, just the total price and then how much per pound. And so you can look at that and see comparably what it would be. Most of the stuff, like, I can't find whole wheat berries. I wasn't able to find them around here in most of the stores, and so I did some looking around. I couldn't find anything here. I don't know, so it's hard to compare it. But if you compare like the price of the ground flour to what you would be getting with the whole wheat berries, I mean, you're absolutely saving. So you can look at that, compare to your local grocery and so forth, and see what is the best choice for you on what you should get. Some of it, like the avocado oil that you're going to see and the forbidden rice, it was very close to what I could have probably bought in the store, but it saved me a trip going to the store by getting it on this order, so it was very comparable. So I'm going to show you what I got there, and then we'll be back. Okay, we're going to break down what we got from Azure Standard and how much everything costs and how much it is per pound. So we spent $422.27 on this order, and we got back $8.40 to spend on another order. A huge chunk of that were these Gamma Seal lids for the food saver buckets, or food grade buckets. We have the kind that you just hammer on and have a clip that you pull off, and they're just a pain to have to get into. And so these, you seal on the ring, and then this easily unscrews. So I just did it, and now I can't do it one-handed apparently. There you go. It easily unscrews, and then you can access the bucket just from this without having to pound it every single time. So these, we ended up getting 12 of them. because we have 13 buckets and it was the most cost effective. It was $79.45 for the 12 lids, which broke it down to $6.62 each. Everywhere I've been seeing them, they're between $7 and $8. Even Home Depot has them for $7.64 if you can find them in stock. So this was great. We're going to be transferring all of our buckets over to these, except for one, which will be something that's not, we don't get into as often. All right, then we got the organic cane sugar, evaporated cane juice. It has only been like gone through one process. They just evaporated that out. It's not super processed like regular white sugar. We paid $29.44 for 25 pounds, and that broke it down to $1.18 per pound. So this is going to last us quite a while. We don't use a ton of sugar, so this should last us like the whole year, if not more. And that'll be stored in a jar for us to use when we need to, and then also it will go in a 5-gallon bucket. The next large bag we got were black-eyed peas or beans. Okay, so the black-eyed peas, we use these all the time. We got them for $42.01 for 25 pounds, which breaks it down to $1.68 per pound. We can't find these under $2 a pound most of the time, and they're usually more than that. So super excited to get these. We add these to basically all of our soups. It's one of our favorite beans besides pinto. Then we have spelt grain, and these grains I have not personally used yet, but we are going to be starting to mill some of our own flour, and so spelt grain is a great one for all different types of things. And so it's an ancient grain, it's healthier for you, has a lot more nutrients in it. This one we spent $29.95 on a 25-pound bag of whole grains that we are going to have to mill down into flour, and that brings it to $1.20 per pound. Now, any of these whole grains, about 1/4 cup will make just under 1/2 cup of flour. So you're getting way more in a smaller space as well. And then we have organic hard white wheat. This was $23.80 for 25 pounds, which puts it at 95 cents a pound for that, and that's going to be what we use for our bread. And then our Durham wheat, which is another 25-pound bag. This gets turned into the, I'm going to say it wrong, I always say semolina, but it's semolina, I believe, flour. This was $37.19, and that breaks it down to $1.49 per pound, and that is what we use for pastas and so forth. There's all kinds of things you can do with that, but that one will last us a super long time. And then we have whole white corn. This was $21.60 for the 25-pound bag, which brings us to 86 cents a pound. And we can mill this down into cornmeal. We can mill it into corn flour. We can make our masa with this. We're super excited about having fresh corn without any of the preservatives in it. The next thing that we have is the forbidden rice. Now this was very similar in price to what we could have gotten at the store. Because I got the pack of 6, it dropped it down a little bit. And these were, I forgot to write down the price on these. I'll pop it onto the screen for what it's broken down to, but it was $23.93 for 6 15-ounce bags. And that makes it 27 cents an ounce. And this is an interesting rice if you've never had it before. It has a different flavor to it, and it's super like dark purple black, and it's actually really yummy. We really liked it. Well, I really liked it. I'm not sure if my husband really liked it that much, but he'll eat it. And then we have some salt. We've got the
pure Himalayan pink salt in coarse. This was $9.80 for a 5-pound bag, and it was $1.96 a pound. These are available in 25-pound bags, but I'm going to do some experimenting and see which style salt I like the best for our styles of cooking, and then decide which one we'll use from there. The sea salt was $5.23 for the 5-pound bag, and that broke it down to $1.05 a bag. We have the popcorn. We got 2 different types of popcorn. We weren't sure which one we were gonna like the best, so we're gonna make this for my husband and my daughter to both have. So there's mushroom popcorn and white popcorn. The white popcorn was $8 for 5 pounds, which broke it down to $1.60 a pound. And then $8.62 for the 5 pounds for the mushroom popcorn. And that broke that down to $1.72 a pound. The mushroom popcorn is not made from mushrooms, and it doesn't taste like mushrooms. It just poofs up more and creates a mushroom cap when you cook it. So we're excited to try those. We do our popcorn with some coconut oil and a little bit of salt. And there's something else in here we are going to try with our popcorn, and that is nutritional yeast. We've never bought nutritional yeast before. We've heard that it tastes kind of like cheese when you add it to stuff. A lot of people add it to popcorn. I've seen a lot of different recipes with that. It's got a ton of different nutrients in it, and so we're going to try that out on our popcorn and in a few other ways. That was $9.85 for a 1-pound bag. And then we have our Celtic sea salt. It's the light gray sea salt. And that was $4.95 for 1 pound. I only got that because I haven't tried it yet, so I want to make sure I like it. And then we have our avocado oil. We've been using a ton of avocado oil. This one was $11.13 for the bottle. And then our turmeric, we got ground turmeric. It is 1 pound. We paid $8.20. That'll go a long way. We really liked that when we had it all sprinkled over our cauliflower and some of our other veggies, so we'll be using that way. And then we're getting ready for pickling season, and I got 1 pound of pickling spice for $8.31. The more you get of these things, the cheaper they are, but we wanted to just do this amount for at this point in time. Cheese. They have all different types of cheese, and we paid $4.37 a pound, and we got 5.6 pounds of the calico cheese. And what we'll probably do is shred some of this up and put it in the freezer so it's easy access for later, and then we'll have some for our use. My daughter and my husband love cheese, so we do go through a whole lot of cheese. I also got honey. This time around, I decided to try the organic, the orange blossom honey raw. It was $12.75 for a 3-pound jar of honey. And then I think the next time we do it, we might get the wildflower one. Then we have, last but not least, our organic coconut oil. We spent $23.60 for a gallon of coconut oil. This thing is huge. I am so excited. So we use coconut oil for a lot of our skincare stuff and for cooking and so forth. So we're super excited about to have that on hand.
Wasn't that haul awesome? I am just like so excited to get everything going. I am adding it to my pantry. I've started filling my jars that I have set up for this stuff. For my counter, and then I'm going to be getting it all into the 5-gallon buckets. And then I wanted to share with you one more thing though. So I'm going to put a link in the comments below. So every customer who shops with Azure Standard has the option to refer people. And if you refer somebody who puts in a $100 order, you get $25 towards your grocery bill. Also, you get Azure cashback, and it goes towards your next purchase. So we earned, it was a little over $8 to go towards our next grocery bill by what we purchased on this order. and then we can choose to use that or not. And then when people are referred, which will have a link in the comments and our referral code, so if you want to sign up, you're more than welcome to. There's no pressure to sign up using our code, and there's obviously, if you're not going to place a $100 order, that's totally fine as well. Just know that if you do place a $100 order and you use our code, it does help our family, and we get $25 to help go towards our groceries. We'll be updating you guys as we use the products, but I think the fact that they are by word of mouth, people share about them. Anybody has that option to share with their family and friends about the company and be able to get the referral bonus there. And then they have so many things available. So I'll keep sharing. Let me know if you use them and how you feel about them. And then also, if you don't use them and you buy bulk elsewhere, let me know what you buy. We are really working hard on our eating habits here. My husband, the last few months, has lost 40 pounds. I have lost almost 20. So what we're doing is working. We're not like specifically doing a certain diet. We're cutting out a lot of sugar and eating lower carbs, but also what carbs we're putting in, trying to make sure that they're good. So like when we do snack, we're doing popcorn on the stove, which is why I ordered a bunch of popcorn. Instead of putting butter all over it, we're using coconut oil on our popcorn, and it tastes delicious. We are adding turmeric to stuff. We're trying to work on the gut health. We're making sourdough. All of our flours will be from the whole wheat berries, and so they're gonna have way more nutrients. We're using a spelt grain, which is an ancient grain. So starting where you can, and again, for us, our first start was eating healthier, just having vegetables, adding in and cutting out a bunch of sugar. And then where we are having sugar, having better for you sugar, less processed, having whole grains and so forth. So just stay tuned. We're going to be having all kinds of fun stuff. Thank you for hanging out and watching the video, and I hope you try them out and that you enjoy them. Don't forget to look in the description section below for the links and the codes and so forth if you want to try them out. And you can always Google them as well, and there is definitely a ton of videos and a ton of information regarding them. So I hope you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you back Friday for another video.